One of the many ways that this, oh, sorry, you may be seated. One of the many ways that this congregation is blessed is by having an endowment that has been provided by people who came before us and by people sitting in this congregation that lets us give grants to community organizations in DeWitt and across the country and around the world, that lets our little congregation, our little consulate of the kingdom of God, change lives all over the place. One of the organizations that we most recently gave to is the Clarke University CUpboard. The C and U are both capitalized because of Clarke University, so good branding. And we have Amanda here, who wrote the grant to tell us a little bit about the work that the Clarke University CUpboard does. So, Amanda, the lectern is yours.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So if you didn't know, I work at Clarke University in Dubuque. I'm a professor in the social work department. And we have, if you don't know about Clarke, we have approximately 900 students. So we're a very small university. And a lot of our students come from far away. We have students from a lot of different countries, from Florida, California, Arizona, Texas, all through the South. And so we have a big variety of students there. And I would say majority of our students work, and I believe 100%, excluding the international students who can't, but I believe 100% of our U.S. students receive some sort of financial aid. So, in a survey done last year, we discovered that 51% of our students worry about running out of food, and 30% of those have gone hungry because they couldn't buy more food. I think a lot of us think about, well, if you have a board plan, that means you get all your meals, right? Well, we have a lot of athletes. I think like 80% of our students are student athletes. And if they have practices that are happening during meal times, or if they have games, they're traveling, that kind of thing, sometimes they aren't able to get to meals. Or if, let's say they have classes over the lunch hour, and so they aren't able to get to the dining hall to eat their meals. And so the other thing is that we have a small dining hall. It's not like a lot of college dining halls now where they get like lots of different options. There's the main kitchen line, and then there's the salad bar. And so protein for a lot of those athletes is something that they don't necessarily always get enough of. So working on that with dining services, but we also recognized that we needed to do more for our students. So in came the cupboard. And so the cupboard is we were able to expand significantly over the last few years with a lot of grant funding. So now we have a couple of rooms, and we buy food, hygiene items, school supplies, and then sometimes we have clothing that's donated, winter coats for those students from the South who don't know what Iowa winter is like until they're in it. Food insecurity for our students impacts all areas. Their physical health, their mental health, their academic success, their athletic or musical success, and their social relationships. So what we found is that if students aren't concerned about food, if they have enough to eat and they know they're going to have enough to eat and they're not hungry all the time, they just do better, like we all do. So in fall of 2024, we served 213 students, over 855 visits, and that ended up being over 1,000 pounds of food. So our food comes from Riverbend Food Bank, which is the best price we can get. And we get deliveries, I believe, once a month. And then I think in between we can get fresh produce and stuff. But often on delivery day, a lot of that food is gone. So it's filling a major need. And we just received, 2 years ago, we received a grant from the endowment fund here. And then just in December, we received another grant for $2,000. And that $2,000 will fund the food and hygiene products needed for until the end of May. So definitely is doing important work. We're doing important work through that program, and we appreciate everybody's help and the church's help and willingness to see the students who are an hour away as our neighbors nonetheless. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I know it is sometimes easy living here in DeWitt to imagine that there are social problems that only affect certain kinds of people and are only in big cities somewhere or only over there. And it is easy to imagine that on a college campus there could not possibly be any of this stuff. And yet, hunger is everywhere. Poverty is everywhere. There's probably at least one student, even at Clarke University, who has no place to live and is just kind of doing their best to put together a bed for the night. So being able to provide for people, being able to help those people is such an important task. It's such an important ministry. Is maybe one of those ways that we work on getting rid of the detritus that the powers of sin and death and everything that makes life less have left behind. So thank you to everyone who made that gift possible, who made that grant possible, and especially to our generosity leadership team who gave it, to Amanda for being involved with it, to everyone at the university who is making that happen. So thank you.